Blind girl abandoned by stepmother at market, but an incredible encounter with the president's daughter. Lily gripped the grocery cart, her fingers tracing over its cool metal frame, a familiar comfort in a world painted by sound and scent. Shoppers bustled around her, voices rising, laughter spilling, carts clattering. Yet, those sounds became swirling chaos when she realized she was alone. "Stay right here," her stepmother had said, just moments before disappearing into the depths of the snack aisle, leaving a harsh silence in her wake. Anxiety prickled at her skin, mingling with an unsettling concoction of abandonment and judgment. Every whispered comment, the pitying glances stung like a swarm of bees. "Why do they look at me like that?" she thought, her heart racing. Was it pity or disgust that made the adults whisper louder as they brushed past? The market felt unforgiving, a glaring spotlight illuminating her disabilities. She pushed forward, struggling against the self-doubt that threatened to swallow her whole. Navigating the aisles, every step was an exercise in independence and tenacity. She focused on the distant beeping of the registers, the soft crinkle of plastic bags, but it did little to mask the gnawing fears that surged within her. Her determination to stand strong wavered, salty tears threatening to spill. Would she ever be more than what society saw a blind girl left behind? Space shifted abruptly as she nearly collided with a stranger, an unexpected warmth brushing against her knuckles. "Sorry," a voice chimed, smooth and melodious. It was a girl, youthful and vibrant. Lily could sense it. "Are you okay?" "Just shopping," she replied, trying to sound steadier than she felt. The sound of the girl's laughter made Lily feel momentarily lighter, a breath within the weight of her isolation. "I'm looking for cereal." Lily braced herself. What would this cheerful girl think of her jagged edges, the rough poetry woven into the fabric of her life? Before she could spiral further, the laughter struck again, warmer this time. "I love cereal. You know, I'm here with my family because we're promoting a charity." "Charity?" Lily echoed, a flicker of curiosity stirring within her, weaving amongst the shadows. "Aha! It helps kids like you," she said, a profound sincerity infusing her tone. Just then, the bustling aisles fell quiet around them, as if the universe framed this moment. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." "That's nice," Lily breathed out, her mind whirling. As their conversation flowed, something within her, a hidden reservoir of stories, her imagination unfurled, creating a tapestry more vivid than her circumstances. Yet every dream felt tethered by the reality of her life, a constricting grip of economic inequality and societal dismissal. Why should she believe in her stories when the world favored the sighted, those riding the streams of privilege? "Do you write?" Emma asked, striking at the core of a secret Lily had buried deep. The thought of pulling her hidden talent into the light sent tremors through her chest, igniting fear. Could she cross that divide? In the wake of their discovery, a mix of hope and despair clouded her mind, drowning her voice beneath the weight of judgment from her stepmother and society. All that was familiar began to feel like shackles, barriers tightening around her. And as Lily's newfound flame flickered, casting fragile light on her father's untold stories hidden in dust-lined journals, her breath hitched with uncertainty. Each revelation felt dangerous, each choice a labyrinth of dilemma. What if her voice, once unleashed, would echo back with scorn and disappointment? The dreams brimming inside her fell dangerously close to fading into silence. How could she step forward into a world that so easily overlooked her? The aisles became a cage, taut with her unraveling identity, hanging by the thin thread of circumstance. Little did she know, the most crucial confrontation was yet to come, one that would unravel threads of her story, testing not only her spirit but the fragile bond forming between her and Emma, all while lingering shadows of judgment loomed ever closer. As she stood at that threshold, would she dare, at last, to claim her narrative? Lily felt her breath quickening, the question hanging heavily in the air. Writing. It seemed both impossible and tantalizing. She brushed her fingertips over the metal of the cart, as if grounding herself in something tangible. Could she truly allow her thoughts to transform into words, to share her stories? The world outside that market had never been inviting, and the thought of rejection loomed like a giant, shadowy figure. Maybe I could, but her voice faltered, uncertain. The warmth of Emma's gaze felt both inspiring and intimidating. It's just that, well, who would care about my story? Emma's laughter, sweeter than before, was a beacon that momentarily followed the cloud of doubt. You'd be surprised. Everyone has a story. Yours might just be the one someone needs to hear. The conviction in Emma's voice sparked something in Lily and Ember amid the frustrations that had surrounded her for so long. She pondered the weight of her own experiences, like stones collected throughout her life, each one a lesson learned in silence. Would sharing them bring light to the darkness, or expose her to further ridicule? I don't know how to start, Lily admitted, her fingers trembling against the cart's handle. With a swift motion, Emma reached into her pocket and produced a small notebook, its pages worn yet inviting. Here, take this. Start writing whenever you feel inspired. It doesn't have to be perfect, just yours. Lily hesitated but accepted the notebook, the weight of it both a promise and a burden. As she traced the cover with her fingertips, her heart drummed steadily faster. Every pulse carried the thrill of adventure but also the fear of failure. What if she took this leap and found herself dismissed once again? You could write about this, Emma suggested gently, nudging her. The way you felt when you first came into the store. Or even what it means to face the world as someone who can't see. Those feelings. Lily's voice barely registered above a whisper. They're too heavy. I fear I might drown in them. Sometimes, the weight of our stories is what makes them powerful. Emma's words wrapped around her like a soft blanket. Let them guide you. I mean it, Lils. The world deserves your voice, a voice that understands, that speaks truth. The more Emma spoke, the more Lily felt doubt retreating, if only slightly. There was something undeniably strong in sharing vulnerability, a bond yet to be forged with those who yearned to connect over mutual struggles. But just as quickly, Lily's hope was threatened by anxiety bubbling back to the surface. What about my stepmother? She won't support this, she never has. Isn't that all the more reason to write? You can redefine your narrative. Emma's energy was contagious, and Lily found herself swept momentarily into that whirlwind of possibility. With a quick intake of breath, Lily felt a surge of determination. Perhaps this moment could mark the beginning of something different. It wasn't merely about writing, it was about reclaiming agency over her own story, crafting it as she wanted rather than letting others dictate how her life should be perceived. As Lily explored the edges of that newfound ambition, the connection with Emma felt like a lifeline. It was a profound reminder of the strength found in shared experiences. But before she could relay that sense of budding confidence, the reality of life crashed in again, like an unexpected wave that left her gasping. Come on, Lily. I need to find Mom. Emma's sister's voice tore through the moment, the urgency slicing through their newfound understanding. Lily felt the ground shift beneath her. Emma was slipping away, consumed by the pull of familial ties that Lily could only envy. What if this budding connection fizzled under the weight of external forces? Suddenly, the grocery store transformed. It felt more like a battleground of internal conflict, where she could either falter or choose to push further into the unknown. Would she have the courage to open that notebook and write the first word, the first sentence, that could lead to her liberation? As Emma prepared to leave, one last question lingered, both a challenge and a promise that hung in the air. Will you write? With her heart pounding, Lily knew that choice loomed before her, a step toward her identity and the world she yearned for. But the whispers of judgment still echoed, promising a reckoning she couldn't yet fathom. Would she rise to this challenge, or would fear hold her back, as it so often had before? As Emma turned to leave, Lily clutched the notebook tightly, a silent vow forming in her mind, igniting the flicker of bravery that would soon be tested in ways she could never predict. How far would she go to challenge her heart's whisper? Would this be the moment she chose to align her actions with her innermost dreams? The moment of truth loomed closer, waiting for her decision. Lily stood frozen for a moment, the notebook still clutched in her hands. The vibrant colors of the grocery store held little interest to her now, all she could focus on were the chaotic thoughts swirling in her mind. The chatter of customers around her faded, and the lingering scent of fresh produce merged with the scent of unexpressed fear. The weight of the notebook felt heavier than expected, a tangible reminder of her potential. An impulsive decision flickered in her consciousness, pushing her to look around for an escape. She was aware that Emma's departure had left her exposed, stripped of her early bravado. The palpable shift saturated the air with the remnants of newfound hope but was quickly tainted by the prospect of vulnerability. Taking a deep breath, Lily moved past the rows of aisles, the notebook guiding her toward a secluded corner filled with an array of potted herbs. The familiar, earthy scent stirred something deep within her, conjuring memories of fleeting moments where she would wrap her fingers around the stems, feeling the life pulse beneath her touch like a heartbeat. In that brief sanctuary, she could almost hear Emma's voice resonate in her mind, urging her to unleash her thoughts, to dig deep. Opening the notebook carefully, she hesitated as blank pages confronted her, each one a mirror reflecting the echoes of her fears. What would she write? The unpolished edges of her emotions were jagged, waiting to be expressed, but at what cost? In an effort to quell the storm inside, she set the pen against the page and began to write. Her thoughts flowed reluctantly at first, but as lines formed, she felt the rhythm of her own voice come alive. Her experiences, the weight of isolation, the sting of rejection from her stepmother, it all poured out. Jumbled sentences transitioned to coherent phrases. The very act of writing transformed her from a passive observer into an active participant in her narrative. I am Lily, she wrote, a girl often unseen, and stories boil within me like a kettle on the edge of boiling over. Words she could hardly speak aloud began to dance on the paper, illuminating corners of her heart she thought forever shadowed. But when she reached the crux of her challenges, those unavoidable feelings of worthlessness and self-doubt, the ink faltered. Those were the phrases that had long bound her mind in chains. In this moment of reflection, openly admitting her struggles felt like a double-edged sword. Would she be exposing her vulnerabilities or merely stating the obvious? A wave of frustration surged within, that familiar voice screamed not to reveal too much, to shield her heart. Yet another, deeper urge within her insisted to press on. She could redefine her narrative, she could dictate her own truth. In that instant, a realization struck: vulnerability could unlock bridges that she had long avoided crossing. Just as she found the courage to engage the deeper truths of her story, a commotion disrupted her thoughts. Voices erupted into frantic chatter nearby, followed by footsteps growing louder. Curiosity piqued, she risked a glance towards the chaos. A small crowd had formed in the store, its energy electrifying and foreign. Fear mingled with fascination, she shifted on her feet, veering her focus between the conflict of her needs and the dynamic scene unfolding before her. Was this an opportunity to be part of something larger, something impactful? Suddenly, an authoritative voice reached her ears, clear amidst the surrounding noise. I promise to deliver the change you deserve, to end the cycle of neglect. Together, we can build a future where every voice matters. Her breath hitched. The president of the local initiative was in the store, making promises that resonated with her deeply. A gathering, a movement. Lily's heart raced as she contemplated her options. Would this spark a connection tied to her dreams, or would it render her aspirations trivial? Urgency replaced her fear as she stood at the precipice of a decision. Should she remain in the shadows as a witness, or claim her presence, perhaps even share her thoughts? As she deliberated, the voices around her started to blur into a singular chant: the need for change, the need for stories to be told. Lily, notebook in hand, took a deep breath. What if this was her moment to share? Would she dare step forward, announcing to a crowd that had always overlooked her? The inner warrior within her whispered fiercely, ready to confront the fears that had bound her for too long. Would today mark the turning point of her journey, and if she gathered the courage now, what might unfurl from her newly written words? The path of self-discovery rose before her with newfound clarity, but it held uncertainty. Would she embrace it, or would she shy away once more, tethered by doubt yet again? Lily felt a rush of heat sweep over her, merging with the chill that draped over her resolve. The noise around her surged, but within, her heart beat steadily, anchoring her. The podium, cluttered with paperwork and a bright banner, seemed to grow larger, towering over her fears. This was not merely a moment, it could be a catalyst for change, both in the world around her and within herself. She could slip away unnoticed, a ghost in the crowd, or step into the light. It felt like a defining moment, like the pages of her notebook had transformed into a stage beneath her feet. With each breath, the weight of her indecision pressed against her chest. Will she confront the swarm of self-doubt or break the chains that have held her silent for so long? For years, she had felt irrelevant, like an extra in a film where everyone else played lead roles. Wasn't it time to rewrite her script? The vision of Emma flashed through her mind, the clear-eyed confidence that had encouraged her to pursue dreams. The pursuit felt daunting, but buried somewhere in her spirit was a flicker of resolve, a spark ignited by the collective fervor around her. She hesitated, looking down at her notebook as if it might hold the answers she needed. But the ink was not just words, it was an emblem of her strength, her experiences. The unsteady trail of sentences she had penned now simmered with possibilities. What if she shared her truths, not as a pitiful tale but as a beacon? What if vulnerability could carve a pathway to connection instead of creating distance? With momentary clarity, Lily stepped away from the confines of her sanctuary, allowing the warmth of the crowd to wash over her. Each stride felt like an immersion into cold water, invigorating and terrifying all at once. She could see the captivated faces looking toward the podium, expectant and longing. They were seeking voices, stories just like hers, a tapestry woven with myriad threads of experience. The president's voice roared, filled with conviction and passion. We all carry burdens. Let us share our stories, our struggles. Only then can we create the change we need. His energy electrified the atmosphere, igniting her own resolve. What if she offered her narrative? What if her message of resilience could spark something greater? Drawing closer, she fixed her gaze at a moment of silence, a brief inhalation before the next wave of dialogue. Her body trembled with uncertainty, yet the fervor within bolstered her. She envisioned standing center stage, shoulders squared, voice breaking free like a bird from its cage. It was time for authenticity, the raw honesty she had hidden away for too long. In that split second, amidst the thrumming buzz of the crowd, she raised her hand, a simple gesture, yet a monumental claim of presence. The president paused, and a space opened up as eyes turned to her, curious and expectant. The crowd shifted, drawn to her as if she were a magnet. "Excuse me," she managed to declare, her voice surprisingly steady, echoing amid the breathing crowd. A rush of exhilaration enveloped her as she felt their attention pierce through her defenses. The potential to share her journey sparked bright within her. With every heartbeat, she felt a sense of belonging. She was not merely a statistic or a background player, she could be a vital part of the narrative where others understood her struggles. But as the crowd leaned in closer, an undercurrent of dread whispered through her resolve. Was she truly ready for this? What if her story felt flimsy against the might of a collective movement? The fear nagged, drawing dark edges around her courage, doubt entwined within the promise of empowerment. And yet, as she opened her mouth, as if the universe itself was conspiring to propel her forward, she knew the choice was only hers to make. Would she step beyond fear, letting it channel into purpose? Or would she falter, retreating into silence once more, relinquishing this moment? Today, I stand as Lily, she began, the words unfurling like the pages in her notebook, each syllable solidifying her presence on the precipice of change. In this climactic moment, answers awaited just beyond her courage, and as she pressed on, she felt destiny beckoning. Yet, entangled within excitement and trepidation loomed the question that wouldn't let go if she shared: would she finally feel whole, or would vulnerability expose her to deeper wounds? The crowd remained rapt, the tension palpable as she forged onward into the unknown, her voice rising toward a convergence of hope and fear, ready to unveil her truth. The air tightened around Lily, electrified and tense as her words flowed like a current, coursing through the listeners before her. "I stand here not as a victim, but as a survivor," she declared, each phrase breaking the chains of her long-standing fears. As she spoke, she conjured images from her past struggles cloaked in shadows, moments that had made her feel invisible. The crowd's absorbed faces mirrored her internal battle, every nod and murmur reflecting a shared understanding that fortified her voice. Each syllable gained momentum, carrying the weight of her truth into the atmosphere. "I learned that silence doesn't protect, it suffocates." The realization rushed through her like a wave. With each disclosure, she was sculpting not just her narrative but inviting others to glimpse into their stories, too. The more she spoke, the stronger she felt, as if her vulnerability was a shield against the looming specter of judgment. But deep within her mind, echoes of her doubts crashed like an angry tide. What if they laughed? What if they dismissed her tales as mere sob stories? Yet, with each answer, she built a scaffold of resolve that encased her in armor. The thrill of honesty surged, obliterating fragments of her former timid self. As she recounted instances of struggle, a childhood fraught with abandonment and the weight of self-doubt, she observed how the crowd leaned closer, hanging on to her every word. This connection felt like the bloom of a flower in harsh terrain, fragile yet undeniable. "I learned to find my voice in the silence of others," she continued, her eyes scanning the audience, each gaze igniting a newfound determination within her. She saw reflections of hardship, resilience, and longing, but also an urge for change. The realization galvanized her into a lyric of clarity. This moment housed power, a transformative potential that pulsed with urgency. But doubt clawed back at her, persistent and gnawing. Was she truly making an impact? Did her voice resonate deeply enough to inspire? What if at the end of this crescendo of courage, all she forged was fragility exposed? That inner conflict shadowed her self-assuredness, wrestling with the newfound strength she was cultivating in this very instant. "Facing our fears is how we rise," she proclaimed, her tone ringing with conviction. Every word became a lifeline, intertwining her own journey with those in front of her. In that moment, she realized she wasn't just speaking for herself, she was channeling the hopes of everyone who felt unheard. As the echoes of her declaration reverberated in her chest, she became acutely aware of her surroundings, the heightened breaths, the glistening eyes. An unguarded flood of emotion coursed through her. She was alive within this narrative, the vulnerability once perceived as a peril now a gateway to authenticity, to deeper connection. Lily was mesmerized yet warned by the daunting thought what awaited her after this crescendo. The applause that followed felt both like an embrace and a challenge. The validation was intoxicating, but would it last once she stepped off this stage? Would the comfort of acceptance be fleeting, replaced by the weight of having laid herself bare? She inhaled sharply, grounding herself in the aftermath of her words. For the first time, she felt pieces of herself broken, perhaps, but not lost. Emboldened, she knew now that every scar held lessons, mysteries to explore, and strength she could draw from. "Let us ignite change, not just with our words," she concluded, the fighting spirit surging once more, but with our actions and our courage to embrace vulnerability. And as the crowd erupted in applause, a wave of exhilaration coursed through her veins. Yet, even in that moment of triumph, she sensed the weight of choices still before her. The applause faded into a hum, and questions now stood smoldering in her heart. Where would this new direction take her? Would she have the courage to continue writing, to delve deeper into her story and into those of others? The stage lights dimmed slightly, adding an urgency to her thoughts. Transformation beckoned, but shadows loomed on the edges. The next step felt monumental. What awaited Lily now? With the weight of her truths on the verge of taking shape, she needed to confront the next unfolding chapter of her life, a land of possibilities tinged with uncertainty. What lay ahead could either cement this moment as a pivotal turning point or lead her back into the silence she fought so fiercely against. Would she rise to claim her place among stories that changed lives, or falter under the burden of expectation? The question hung in the air, unbidden but imperative, as she wondered, was she prepared to navigate the next wave of change on the horizon? The aftermath of her speech enveloped Lily like a shroud, mingling exhilaration with an apprehensive weight. As the audience dispersed, their faces marked with emotional contemplation, a potent question began to coalesce in her mind: what did it mean to embrace her journey fully? She stepped down from the stage, her feet moving almost mechanically, the applause still echoing in her ears. Each clap felt like an endorsement of her courage, yet it also magnified the fear that clawed at the edges of her newfound resolve. The taste of affirmation was sweet, but what was she to do with it? As she caught sight of her reflection in a nearby window, she hardly recognized the woman staring back with resolve glinting in her eyes, her own face now a blend of vulnerability and burgeoning strength. Stumbling outside, the rush of cool air snapped her from her reverie. A cacophony of city life filled her senses, blurring the lines between triumph and uncertainty. People hurried past, immersed in their lives, and for a moment, she felt a flicker of envy for their anonymity, their ability to blend seamlessly into the everyday. But she didn't want to retreat into the shadows. She had tasted the light, and it was intoxicating. Without a clear destination, her legs led her towards a bustling cafe where the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with laughter and conversation. Inside, she found a corner table next to a window. The act of ordering a tall latte felt monumentally significant in its simplicity. Here she was, alive, participating in life, the weight of her words still pulsating through her veins. With her drink in hand, she took out her notebook, the blank pages like a canvas waiting for her strokes of vulnerability to paint the narrative of her evolving identity. Her fingers trembled with excitement as she wrote down her thoughts, each letter a declaration, each word a step toward the woman she longed to become. What's next? She scrawled at the top of the page. She needed direction, a plan to channel this energy that surged within her since she had spoken her truth. At the forefront of her mind was the realization that sharing her story was merely the beginning. Now she had to commit to fully living it and seeking out avenues to further her growth. Her thoughts drifted to those she had seen in the crowd during her speech. Every tear, every nod, each emotional response hung in the air like an invitation for community, for connection. Could she become more than a voice but also a facilitator of stories that needed to be told? The butterflies in her stomach fluttered anxiously as she contemplated this idea, the opportunity to build a bridge between her experience and others. The unmistakable jingle of a bell at the door interrupted her reflections, and she looked up to find a woman stepping inside, her clothes vintage yet vibrant, exuding an air of artistic flair. There was something striking in the woman's presence. It pulled Lily's attention like a magnet. As the woman approached, their eyes met and a spark of recognition flickered between them, one of those inexplicable connections that come when two journeys align. "I couldn't help but overhear your speech earlier," the woman said, her voice warm and inviting. "You were remarkable. I'm an editor for a creative magazine, and I think your story has so much potential. Would you be interested in discussing a feature?" Lily's heart raced. This was the kind of opportunity she had dreamed of, but the specters of self-doubt crept in unbidden. Was she truly ready to share more deeply? To risk the vulnerability that came with public scrutiny? The thought of writing for a magazine felt daunting, even exhilarating. "Let us explore how your voice can resonate across those blank pages," the woman continued, her enthusiasm infectious. "Together, we could find a way to touch lives, to drive change." Lily felt on the cusp of a defining moment, yet uncertainty rooted her in place. Was she prepared for this leap forward, for the scrutiny and exposure that could follow? The question lingered in the air, a foreboding challenge wrapped in bright opportunity as she contemplated this unexpected encounter. Would she seize the chance to expand her narrative further, risking everything for the potential to empower others? The horizon of possibilities stretched wide, and she swallowed heavily, realizing that the time for action was now. Would she grasp it? In that moment, the vibrant energy of the cafe seemed to dim as Lily grappled with the weight of the woman's proposition. Her heart raced, a wild drum in her chest, while doubt settled like a stone in her stomach. What did it mean to truly expose herself? To allow her words to resonate not just with a few souls in a crowd, but also to shine brightly in the pages of a magazine? As the editor waited for her response, an intense self-examination surged within her. Could she transform her vulnerability into a compelling narrative that inspired others? She thought of the raw, stirring emotions she had felt while articulating her journey, and how those had resonated with her audience. But was that enough to sustain the scrutiny of a broader public? "Are you okay?" The editor's concern broke through her spiraling thoughts. "I can see this is a lot to take in. It's a big step." "Big doesn't quite cover it," Lily replied, her voice steadying as she spoke. "I mean, I want to do this. I really do," she hesitated, rethinking her words. "But making my story available to the masses? Isn't that a level of exposure I'm not ready for?" The editor leaned in, her gaze unwavering. "Taking risks is part of growth. In sharing your story, you invite others to share their own. You have a talent for it, Lily. Don't underestimate your voice." Her impact broke through Lily's defenses, unraveling the tightly wound threads of hesitation. Here was someone who believed in her potential, someone who saw beyond her doubts. For the first time in years, she felt consideration for that belief rather than dismiss it. "Think of it this way," the editor continued, casting a vision for what could be. "You'll have an opportunity to curate your message, to ensure it reflects your truth. You can choose what to share. It's not about being an open book, it's about presenting chapters that resonate with the world." The notion grabbed at Lily's heart: curation, power, control. This wouldn't be a reckless disclosure, but a deliberate choice to invite connection. Still, a flicker of fear ignited within her. What if she chose the wrong words? What if sharing her truth became a weapon turned against her? She swallowed hard, balancing the burgeoning courage with the nagging voice that warned of failure. What if the world reacts differently? What if my vulnerabilities are weaponized? The question escaped her lips before she could stifle it. "Fear is natural," the editor said calmly. "But think of it as an opportunity to practice resilience. By putting yourself out there, you encourage others to do the same. It's more than just a feature, it's catalyzing a movement of authenticity." The concept hung in the air, electrifying yet terrifying. The prospect of weaving her words into something larger than herself set her imagination aflame. She envisioned the potential impact rippling outward. Yet, each vision was also tinted with trepidation. Silence enveloped them as Lily considered the life-altering choice presented before her. Could she embrace the challenge of moving from speech to feature? Was she ready to shoulder that responsibility? In the quietude of contemplation, a thought crystallized. This decision transcended her fears. It was the nexus of her growth. As she caught the editor's gaze, determination flooded her veins. "All right, let us discuss this. Let us find the right way to share my story." The warmth of ambition blossomed within her, a counterpoint to the lingering doubts she still cradled. They began to sketch out ideas for the feature, a tapestry of potential narratives and vibrant stories. Just as the conversation deepened and excitement swelled, Lily's phone buzzed violently in her pocket. The sudden intrusion jolted her thoughts away from the smooth flow of creativity into a vortex of anxiety as she pulled it out and saw the caller ID. It was her stepmother. With a heavy heart, she hesitated. A part of her instinctively wanted to ignore it. But another part, the one kindling with newfound resolve, knew she couldn't run. She needed to face the facets of her life she had long sought to escape, and this call might complicate everything she was beginning to build. "Excuse me," Lily mumbled to the editor, stepping aside. Her composure faltered as she pressed the green button. Would this call erase the seeds she was nurturing, or could she grow amidst the chaos? The implications loomed as she answered. What awaited her on the other side of this call? As the phone connected, Lily braced herself, her mind racing through the labyrinth of emotions she had locked away. The familiar voice, tinged with an authority that sent shivers down her spine, filled her ears and dredged up memories she had long tried to forget. "Lily, it's been a while," her stepmother spoke with a measured tone. The coolness contrasted sharply against the warmth of the cafe's vibrant atmosphere, drawing Lily inward, away from the world flourishing just beyond her reach. "Yeah, it has," she replied, struggling to maintain a level tone. The familiar dread clawed at her gut. This conversation could unearth old wounds. "What do you want?" "I think we need to talk," her stepmother continued, the bluntness of her words making it clear she wasn't asking for Lily's preference. "About what?" "You left, remember?" Anger simmered beneath her steadied exterior. "I've been doing just fine." "That's exactly what I want to address," she snapped back, irritation mingling with condescension. "You think you're doing fine? You've been avoiding every difficult conversation. Ignoring reality to make it go away." Lily clenched her fists, feeling the weight of her stepmother's judgments pressing down on her. "And what reality are you referring to? The one where you decided I wasn't worth your time? Don't twist it into something it's not." Her stepmother's voice sharpened, each word a dagger. "I'm not here to fight. I'm trying to help you see the bigger picture. Your life isn't going to magically change if you keep burying yourself in your art and avoiding family." With each remark, Lily felt the walls closing in. This wasn't just a conversation, it was a challenge to everything she had fought to build. Here was the embodiment of her past standing in the way of her future, and suddenly she was confronted with a bitter truth. Her stepmother's words, while hurtful, contained a tinge of reality she couldn't ignore. The voice of reason, no matter how abrasive, attempted to cut through her narrative of isolation. "Do you really think you're entitled to give me advice?" The heat in her voice shifted. She was straddling the line between anger and introspection, looking for the moral high ground. An imperceptible pause hung between them, and for a split second, Lily wondered if maybe her stepmother felt something, a hint of regret or recognition of her own missteps. "Lily, that's not what this is about," her stepmother replied softly, the edge in her voice dulled but still discernible. "What I did was a mistake. I left, and I can't change that. But I'm asking you to see beyond that. You're strong, you have this talent, and you need to embrace it outside of your comfort zone. If you could just accept that you're not alone. The word felt like a punch to the gut. She had finally begun to pull the pieces of her life together, had begun to nurture her new identity, and here was a voice from her past trying to distort that fragile reconstruction. "Difficult conversations?" she challenged. "Is that why you picked now? Because I'm vulnerable with my work?" "It's because you are starting to grow, and I want to be part of that," she argued. "But you need to be willing to let people in. Not just me, but whoever else can contribute to your success. You're standing on the cusp of something, I can feel it." The uncanny belief in her stepmother's voice both infuriated and intrigued her. Recognizing a flicker of authenticity amidst the familiar manipulation, a question bubbled to the surface: could she genuinely allow someone who had hurt her to help? I need to think," Lily stammered, her resolve shaking as she glanced back at the editor, who was watching her with an expression of growing concern mixed with curiosity. "Then think." Her stepmother's voice lost its edge, a temporary truce hanging in the balance. "Just remember, vulnerability is strength." As Lily ended the call, the caffeine and creativity swirling in her veins dimmed in comparison to the emotional turmoil now broiling in her heart. She turned back toward the editor, eyes wide with uncertainty. What did it mean to embrace the messiness of growth, to carve out her truth in a midst of complication? This wasn't just about her story anymore, it was about how she navigated the relationships that could either support or undermine her journey. Feeling the potency of that realization, she knew she was at a crossroads not merely with her stepmother, but within herself. Lily exhaled slowly, the battle between fear and ambition burning within her. Would she allow this moment to define her path? Or would she weave the lessons learned from her past as she ventured into the unknown? As she began to engage again about her future, the potential for both growth and conflict loomed on the horizon. It became clear, the real work was ahead of her. And she had to decide who would be with her as she faced the emerging storm. The noise of the cafe swelled around her, yet Lily felt isolated, cocooned within her swirling thoughts. The editor's gaze intensified, sparking an unspoken question in the air: what now? Resolved, she centered her focus on her work, flipping through the pages of her sketches. Each line inscribed depth, emotion, and the fears she had yet to confront. Suddenly, a moment of dawning realization hit her with clarity. Perhaps her art was more than an escape, it could serve as a bridge to grapple with her own emotional landscape, a way to anchor her emerging identity amid the turbulence of her past. Yet, whispering doubts flooded in. Was she truly equipped for such exposure, knowing it could lead to further rejection, or worse, invite manipulation? The thought of revisiting her relationship with her stepmother, defying the barriers she had so carefully built, sent a shiver down her spine. As she engaged with the editor, Lily felt the conversation begin to shift. This wasn't just about her illustrations, it was about her narrative, her growth as both an artist and an individual. "I want to show more than just pretty pictures," she asserted, her voice gathering strength. "I need to dig deeper into my emotions and experiences. I want my work to resonate, to express vulnerability and strength simultaneously." The editor leaned forward, an approving nod a sign of encouragement. "That's what I need to hear, Lily. Your authenticity is what will captivate, but be prepared for the reaction it will invoke. Some may not understand." Those words echoed in her mind, colliding with her stepmother's earlier proclamation about vulnerability. In a fleeting moment, she considered what it would entail to embrace discomfort within her art, and ultimately, in her life. This could redefine her path in ways she had never anticipated. But it also meant confronting the very real emotions tied to her past. As the meeting progressed, Lily's heart raced with every potential decision illuminated. She could visualize gallery walls adorned with pieces telling her narrative, perhaps someday confronting her stepmother with her testimony etched in every stroke. Each sketch became a metaphor for her struggle-layered stories, capturing the dichotomy of abandonment and resilience. Yet, the fear remained that her stepmother's return might overshadow her journey, possibly derailing the progress she had diligently crafted. Could she separate her art from her past and present? Would vulnerability strengthen her resolve or expose old wounds? Closing her sketchpad, Lily took a deep breath, realizing the path ahead was littered with uncertainties. But she also recognized the unprecedented opportunity for connection this could bring, not only with her stepmother but with all those willing to share and experience in the messiness of life. "Let's take a chance," she said finally, determination flickering through her uncertainty. "I'm ready to put my work out there, to explore the complexities of my experiences, even if it challenges others." The editor smiled, a sense of admiration glimmering in their eyes. "That's the spirit. Let's transform this into something that could leave a mark not just on art but on the hearts of those who encounter it." As discussions morphed into plans, a spark ignited inside Lily. The uneasiness within swirled relentlessly, but newfound determination began to overshadow that fear. What if each stroke of her brush transformed not just her narrative but how she viewed her relationship with her stepmother? She nestled the thought deep within her mind as the cafe buzzed around them. Could the pain of her past and the essence of her growth intertwine in a masterpiece that might even invite her stepmother back into her life, not to tear her down, but to resonate, reflect, and reshape? The excitement of creation loomed ahead, the promise of confronting her fears elevating her energy. Yet, a haunting question lingered: was she prepared for whatever would follow once the canvas was exposed to the light of day? And as the thought echoed, she felt the tension of another encounter approaching, one she hadn't anticipated but sensed would soon arrive, like a storm on the horizon. The days turned into weeks, and as Lily began to channel her energy into her art, it felt as if she were breathing for the first time. Each stroke of her brush was a release, a declaration that morphed her fears into tangible forms. She embraced the complexity of her story, every layer of paint representing both the pain of her past and the resilience that blossomed within her. The editor became a mentor, guiding her efforts as they collaborated on the upcoming feature. Together, they sculpted Lily's narrative into an evocative collection titled Seeing Beyond Shadows. It encapsulated her journey from isolation to empowerment, weaving together her voice and the stories of others who had felt the suffocating grip of invisibility. But with this new chapter came the inevitable, the call Lily anticipated yet dreaded, signaling her stepmother's interest once more. When the phone rang, it felt different this time, the weight of the impending conversation pressing against her chest. She hesitated for a brief moment, recalling the journey she had undertaken, the transformation she had achieved. Gathering her resolve, she answered, "Hello." Her voice trembled at the edges, but the core held steadfast. "Lily, I've seen glimpses of your work, and I'm proud." Her stepmother's voice had softened, stripped of her previous condescension, the familiar barriers seemingly dissipating. "You're using your talents to speak your truth. It's powerful. What do you want?" The question hung in the air, a mixture of defiance and curiosity. Had the weight of her stepmother's past judgments shifted, or was this merely a fleeting moment of clarity? "I want to know you," she replied, genuine vulnerability in her tone. "I see you're stepping into your voice, and I want to be part of your journey. I recognize my mistakes, and I want to support you now. Can we talk?" For a fleeting moment, the walls Lily had constructed felt shaky. Could she extend an olive branch? After all the scars accumulated from isolation and abandonment, was she ready to forge a new path with someone who had once caused her pain? Maybe, she ventured cautiously, still navigating the emotional landscape of trust and hesitance. "But you need to understand that my story isn't just mine anymore. It belongs to everyone who faces the world in silence." The weight of truth rippled forward. An unexpected warmth grew within her as she recalled the connections she had made through her art, each interaction fostering a sense of belonging and empathy. "I'm sharing my journey, and I refuse to let anyone, including you, undermine that again." Her stepmother's silence was palpable, like a breath held between them. "I understand. I want to support you, but I don't want to stumble back into old patterns. Just give me a chance to show that I've changed." As Lily mulled over her stepmother's plea, she envisioned the reality of her life not just as an artist, but as a person capable of reclaiming her narrative. She had woven her story into a tapestry of resilience and strength, a foundation that could withstand the harsh scrutiny of her past and present. "I'll think about it," she said, the words both a promise and a challenge. After they ended the call, Lily felt ruggedly empowered. The discomfort had become clear. Bearing the weight of her story didn't need to exclude others from sharing that journey too. Perhaps this could be an opportunity for transformation, not just for herself, but for her stepmother as well. In the wake of their conversation, Lily redirected her focus to her art, pouring herself into the canvas with fervor. As the days progressed, she unveiled a stunning piece titled Visions Reclaimed that would serve as the centerpiece for her feature. It encapsulated her emotional landscape, vibrant colors cascaded through dark shades that symbolized lost parts interwoven with light, the essence of reclaiming one's identity. As she prepared for the unveiling, she reflected on how far she'd come. Standing at the intersection of fears and aspirations, she no longer felt like a mere whisper in the world. This was her moment, her stage, where she could articulate the complexity of her experiences and insecurities. On opening night, the gallery buzzed with excitement. Guests gathered, exchanging laughter and whispers, eager to experience the stories encapsulated within the frames. Each painting beckoned viewers to confront their own vulnerabilities, giving a voice to the unseen. As she connected with attendees who resonated with her art, she felt something click into place. The essence of her purpose brewed within her, extending further than she could have imagined. Where once there was isolation, now stood connection. Finally, when she stepped up to share her story, her voice rang with confidence. Art can be a vessel of vulnerability, of bridging the divides created by fear. I invite you all to see beyond shadows, through the complexity of human experience. The applause that erupted felt like a tidal wave of support, an affirmation that she was no longer merely surviving, she was thriving. With each passing interaction that evening, it became clear that her journey wasn't just about her, it was about the collective stories that weave through humanity. She was ready to embrace the tumultuous beauty of vulnerability as a source of community and healing. And among the attendees, she spotted her stepmother, standing at the back, quietly observing. In that instance, Lily felt an echo of the connection they could nurture, a tentative bridge forming between their disparate worlds. Perhaps reconciliation could be more than a mere concept, it could be a collaboration that sparked genuine change. Opening a dialogue with her stepmother became a new chapter waiting to be written in this evolving narrative. As the night concluded, Lily understood she had not only reclaimed her artistic voice, she was also ready to rewrite the unfinished stories of her relationships, including one that had once felt irreparably broken. And with that, Lily stepped forward on her path toward healing, fully aware of the strength it took to mold her life's narrative. She had conquered the darkness, proved her courage through art, and was finally equipped to embrace whatever came next, emboldened by the connections she continued to forge. Embodying resilience, Lily embarked on her journey with renewed hope, not just for herself, but for all who dared to share their stories. Now was the time to nurture that fearlessness, to inspire connections that would change lives. She could allow herself to feel worthy because she was indeed enough. You need to subscribe now to witness the incredible unfolding of stories. This is the moment to show your support, and don't wait even one more second to share with friends who need inspiration. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm that brings light to these powerful narratives. Comment your thoughts about Lily's journey and how her story resonates with you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends. Let us create a ripple effect of empowerment and connection.